What is happening, YouTube? I've been wanting to make this video for a while, and I was planning to, um, like, I kind of waited towards almost the end of the off season because I was waiting to see if the James Harden trade went through or not, and it looks like it's not going to go through for now. Um, I could definitely see it go through maybe later on, but for now, in this video, I'm gonna be making like a Clippers off-season grade, and it's gonna be starting from the trade deadline. So it's kind of be a mixture of the trade deadline and the off-season grade. And I'm gonna do like a two rating type thing because Clippers essentially stayed the same, and they also did make some moves. Um, and I'll tell you this: it is either the Clippers make the moves that I love, or it's the moves that I really hate with a burning passion. It's rarely in the middle. But anyways, let's get started. The Bones Highland acquisition. I would give it a straight up A plus. Bones Highland, I had no expectation that this guy was gonna be a Clipper. Like I thought, the Denver Nuggets were planning to use this guy's asset to kind of go for a bigger one like Damian Lillard or or any other future superstar. But nah, they were just trying to ship Bones, and we just got Bones Highlands for just two second round picks, which is actually very solid because Bones Highland he's only like 23 years old, and that is pretty young. Two second round picks for just a young electric scoring point guard and also a guy who could play make. So he's kind of a like pretty much like a supercharged version of a Jordan Clarkson. Um, he's a bucket. Um, Definitely could be clutch. I know in the playoffs he wasn't shooting too efficiently, but I think that's just part of that just part of time. I think next season he's only gonna be so much better for us. He's gonna be kind of like how Lou Will was for us, but except I would say even better because Bones Highlands defense, I would say it's a lot better than what people give him credit for. I wouldn't say he's a lockdown defender like Patrick Beverley. That's of course not his game, but his defense is more respectable than what people think of, and his wingspan is pretty long, and he's a bucket on the offensive side. And I know a lot of Clippers fans, they were really happy that we got Bones Highland, and rightfully so, because a lot of them, they wanted him even back during draft night, um, which is, and then now since it happened, we just acquired Bones Highland, and those fans who wanted Bones back in 2021, they're happy to see. I'll admit, I was a more of a Sharif Cooper guy. Um, I'll definitely take my L on that one, but either way, Bones is hooping. He's hooping with us, and that's amazing to see. Another grade, Mason Plumley. Mason Plumley, we just got him for a Reggie Jackson swap. So just for a value wise, I would say like before the playoffs, I would have said maybe like a B or even maybe a B plus. But the way he played in the playoffs, like the last game, um, he definitely went crazy. Dude dropped 20 points and all that. Um, and also he could play make as well too. So he's kind of like a do it all type center. Only thing I could ask is he could play better defense. But if I would have to give a grade, um, I kind of say A minus because Reggie Jackson, man, not got nothing but love for Reggie Jackson, but he was kind of regressing with us, unfortunately. He was not playing his best. Um, so it was time to move on. But I still got a huge amount of love for Reggie Jackson. Dude did a lot for the Clippers, but it was just unfortunately time for Reggie to go and getting a Mason Plumlee, which I think it's a solid um asset to get like a backup big that the Clippers could have used. Even though, in my opinion, Diabate should have got the backup spot, but Plumley for now, he's not a bad band aid. You know what I'm saying? And and then we also got re-signed him for like a 1 year $5 million, so that's a very team friendly deal. So overall, I give this like an A minus. I'll give this like an A minus in general. Mason Plumlee acquisition, and we re-signed him. Solid move. Um, all right. Now we're gonna start getting to the bad side. The Luke Canard trade. I was one of the more like the type of guy who was willing to trade Luke Canard, but not for this low. Um, so we traded Luke Canard to the Memphis Grizzlies for like 3 second round picks. In my opinion, I believe the Clippers should have got like more assets, like maybe like Brandon Clark or um, maybe like a Xavier Tillman or maybe heck maybe even get like a Steven Adams or something like that, or I don't know, like definitely some type of like asset in my opinion. Or the Clippers should have gotten a first round pick for him. Like I would have probably like if I were to ship Luke Kennard, I would have probably like find like a team that would have give a first round pick because in my opinion, he's easily worth a first round pick. And then Clippers could use like some extra first round pick draft capital to kind of like, have insurance for like the Clippers future because, Clippers need to start, you know, playing chess and, playing out for the future because the Clippers already got enough to win it all. So and the Clippers are still somewhat log jammed with our shooting guard depth. So like getting some extra first round pick, it can either give us some assets or just give us like a more of a sense of security. Like once like let's just say Kawhi and Paul George they retire because they're getting old, and you know having them first round picks they help, man. Because too many teams they neglect the first round picks. Look at the Brooklyn Nets back in 2014. They just threw all that away, and then they were like rebuilding for like ages. But if I were to say, I would like okay, if I were how to grade a Luke Kennard trade, I would grade it like I would say like a D because the idea of trading Luke Kennard it's not like the worst idea in the world. And like I said, I was more willing to do that as well too. But Clippers should have got way more asset. Should have got at least a first round pick. At least a first round pick. Or if you're gonna get the second round picks from the Grizzlies, you could have at least maybe got like another solid role player. But personally, I would have just made sure like I got a first round pick because Luke Kennard, he was a sniper. He was like 45% shooting from three, so that's easily worthy of a first round pick in my personal opinion. But now this one, I'm gonna be very pissed. Eric Gordon. All right, this is one of the worst trades of the decade of 2020. And I will take some accountability on this because at the time when the Eric Gordon trade didn't happen, okay, my bad. At the time when the Eric Gordon trade happened, I kind of like neglected it. I kind of like showed some feeling that oh no, I don't really like it, but I didn't really like show like strong emotion because I was so happy that we got Bones and we did not trade Brandon Boston Jr. Because at the time of the trade deadline, my biggest paranoia is we're gonna ship Brandon Boston Jr. for like some type of asset like a Kyrie Irving and all that, and that was my biggest fear, Brandon Boston Jr. getting traded, and I was so happy that that didn't happen, and then I was so happy that we got Bones. I thought we would go on a run, but so I kind of like neglected it, but as soon as like the game started to roll on, and as soon as I kind of looked into the trade details more, I started hating this trade more and more and more. Um, this is horrendous. The worst fucking trade a team can actually make. I give this trade an F minus. I said it, an F minus. Honestly, if there was a letter worse than an F minus, I would give it that letter. I would say like a probably like a T means for trash, because this a trash ass trade, bro. Because Eric Gordon, we never needed a guy like Eric Gordon. We already had a lot of shooting guard depth, so you already did one part of trying to trade Luke Canard to clear up depth, but then you trade a first round pick for Eric Gordon. And I know this is gonna offend a lot of like Clippers fans who were like fans of this team before Lob City, but I'm sorry. This was a terrible trade. You pick swapped, so the Clippers could have 19th, but now we had pick 30. And then I'll get into that later because that night Clippers pissed me off. Um, the Eric Gordon trade. This is one of the worst trades I could ever think of. Why on earth did we choose to get Eric Gordon? And yes, no. He did have some decent games, but we never needed his games from the start. He's not Ray Allen. This dude be chucking up 40, 50 feet shots and be throwing bricks, and his defense is not even good either. Um, he's not even that much better than Reggie Jackson, and a lot of people like to flame Reggie Jackson, but man, we'd be better off, I guess, if we kept Reggie Jackson and have like a first round pick. I guess I don't know, but this is god awful, a terrible move. Um, Clippers could have also like, I mean, I'm not saying the Clippers should have done it, but Clippers would have been better off. A like if they were so worried about nostalgia, could have maybe signed Patrick Beverly instead. But obviously that does not make sense either, because then like the backcourt's gonna be really small. But at least Patrick Beverly would have brought more value to this team, in a veteran minimum contract, because his defense was pretty scrappy, and the Clippers would have saved a huge like trade down. But either way, I'm not saying the Clippers should have went after Patrick Beverly, although I love Patrick Beverly, but now we got Russell Westbrook. It's hard to kind of fit Patrick Beverly and Russell Westbrook because the fit's gonna be weird because we have a lot of guards. But I still love Pat Bev and all that. Shout out to Pat Bev. He did a lot for the Clippers. But this trade was awful. This trade reminds me of kind of like the 2011 trade or 2010 trade. I think 2010, 2011. I think 2011. Yeah. It's when the Clippers traded Baron Davis and a first round pick for Mo Williams. That never made sense from the start because the Clippers they were like a lottery team. So why would you trade your unprotected first round pick for an average role player? This is what the Clippers did this year. It was just exactly like the Mo Williams trade. Eric Gordon, he's been a huge liability for the Clippers. He had some decent games, but overall, this is the worst trade I've ever seen. And now he's with the Suns, and I don't think he's gonna do well with the Suns because the Suns are gonna have a lot of firepower, but the defense is gonna be pretty suspect. But yeah, this trade was so atrocious. But now, the acquisition of Russell Westbrook. I've give this an A plus. Nah, I think this is an understatement. I'll give him an S tier. Like when you do like like the A tier, B tier, and then there's something better than over the A. It's like an S. But that's the grade I would give the acquisition of Russell Westbrook. A complete S tier. Um, I would say like okay. When I first heard Russell Westbrook being a Clipper, I was so skeptical. I was so scared of his acquisition because from what he did was with the Lakers, he turned the ball over so much. He shot the worst bricks on the planet, like to according to some of the highlights. Um, But the second year of Russell Westbrook, towards the end, he started to show some flashes of of some resurgence. But still, I was so scared of going for Russell Westbrook and all that. But now, ever since we acquired him, and as soon as I saw that man played against the Sacramento Kings, I was like, man, he really changed my opinions about Russell Westbrook, about him in general. Like, bro, this dude proved me wrong. And I think, like, if I just say, like, what is, like, my worst basketball take, I would definitely say, me sleeping on Russell Westbrook, really, because, wow, this man really, really impacted Clippers in a hugely positive way. Um, as soon as I saw that man play against the Sacramento Kings, I just knew he is what the Clippers needed. The Clippers with Westbrook, we play so fast with him. We needed that speed, and Clippers offense is essentially unlocked. He is what we thought John Wall was, and I kind of had a soft spot for John Wall, but Russell Westbrook, man, he's been amazing, and his rebounding and of course his playmaking is elite. And yeah, I know, like there is a faction of Clippers fans that still don't like the acquisition of Russell Westbrook, but that's like a minority right now. But his ability to shoot, it's still obviously like not ideal, but um, I would definitely say it improved because now if you leave Russell Westbrook open, he's finna be hitting it. Like it's not like it's just gonna be an automatic break. Like, of course, sometimes you leave him open, yeah, he's gonna miss, but um, other than that, he helped us a lot. Like yes, I know like the mistakes that Russell Westbrook had, it's still essentially kind of like there. He still turns the ball over and all that, um, but at the same time, Russell Westbrook benefits us outweighs his flaws. And Russell Westbrook, man, that's just a amazing acquisition. And yeah, that's a fat S tier. And not only that, like his off season made me even love him a lot more. And ever since like February when we played against the Sacramento Kings, I immediately become a fan. And I was just so glad that this man proved me wrong. Like it's unbelievable. And like I said, his offseason made me love him more again because this man, he took the biggest pay cut in NBA history. In NBA history. Like, bro didn't even is like not even $4 million a year. Can someone give this man a round of applause? Like, he proved a lot of us wrong. He proved us wrong. Simple as that. And another shout out I want to give to, I'm gonna shout my guy Primetime Sports Podcast once again because he was a believer of Russell Westbrook even when it was not popular. He was like, like pushing it to me, like not to me, but like, overall, like in the social media page, he was pushing like, hey man, Clippers, why not give Russell Westbrook a chance? And then I was like, oh man, I don't know about that. But then, but at the same time, I was open minded. I was like, no, man. I mean, if we get him, I don't prefer it, but if we get him, if he like, I'll just hope he proves me wrong. And then I kind of like gave it a chance, and wow, this man proved me wrong. Shout out to this man. Shout out to this man. All right. Oh boy, this will be another rant. Draft night. Um, the Clippers during the draft, they tend to have a bad habit of kind of like neglecting the draft too many times, man. Um, the day before, they were planning to just throw away the pick for Malcolm Brogdon, and that would have been a terrible trade in my opinion because Brogdon, he's a good player, but in this draft class, it was loaded with a lot of high potential good power forward, and we needed a power forward That definitely could have helped the team. And the Clippers almost threw that away for Malcolm Brogdon. And I heard the Clippers might revisit it. But again, if we get Brogdon for cheap, sure. But I don't want to give any legit assets for Malcolm Brogdon. But the Clippers were about to overtrade. So like we could have had like no rookie and would have just threw it our way for Malcolm Brogdon, and that just didn't really make too much sense. That would have clogged up the guard positions, and Malcolm Brogdon, he's injury prone. He had a horrible series against the Miami Heat, and then I was initially like happy that the trade didn't go through, um, but the next day Clippers pissed me off. Oh boy, I was heated. The Clippers took this guy over Gigi Jackson and Leonard Miller. Um, Kobe Brown, um, he's growing on me a bit. He's showing a little flash of being a solid player. Um, his 35 points explosion kind of like he's like I was like maybe he could be solid or something like that. But I'm still not really liking the draft choice. And I'm not going to set the bar too high because Kobe Brown, he's not a young prospect. He's 23 years old. Um, Gigi Jackson, he's only 18 years old. Leonard Miller, he's only 19 years old. Um, and I would grade this like, I would give it a D, maybe a D plus because he did do solid, but had Kobe Brown not dropped 35 points, I would have just also gave the grade a flat out F minus because, bro, Gigi Jackson was right there. Leonard Miller was right there. Okay, if I have to give like a equivalent, I would say the idea of drafting Kobe Brown over Gigi Jackson and Leonard Miller, it's like taking Paul Millsap over prime Danny Granger, which is Gigi Jackson, and Lamar Odom, which is Leonard Miller. Um, Honestly, if you want me to exaggerate it, I could say it's like taking Paul Millsap over a Jason Tatum because that's another player comparison that I see in Gigi Jackson. But I kind of want to like lower it down to a Danny Granger because I don't want to sound too biased and all that. Because I just use Danny Granger because that's what was Jason Tatum's NBA comparison because he's a big scoring wing, and Gigi Jackson he's like a hybrid. He's like a scoring wing, but he's also a power forward. Like dude could play defense, and the Clippers pissed me off so much that I kind of got a second team now, and it's the Memphis Grizzlies. Like that's how bad the Clippers pissed me off. But hopefully, Kobe Brown proves me wrong. And I think it could have been worse because the Clippers could have just simply threw that away, threw Kobe Brown away for Malcolm Brogdon. And you know, I was not a Kobe Brown guy first, but for me personally, I'd still rather have like a Kobe Brown over a Malcolm Brogdon. And I would definitely say Kobe Brown should be definitely be playing some solid minutes, like maybe 15 to 20 minutes a game behind Robert Covington. Definitely do not play Marcus Morris. I want I would love like a Robert Covington starting power forward and then Kobe Brown come off the bench. I would definitely support that. So that is some positive comments I would say about Kobe Brown, but should have been Gigi Jackson, man. Should have been Gigi Jackson because that dude's gonna be, his chemistry with John Morant, Bane, Jaren Jackson, Steven Adams. Oh, that's gonna be nice. And yes, Clippers kind of gave me a fat ass headache on draft night, really. And had the Eric Gordon trade not went through, Clippers could have took Cam Whitmore. So that's like a double headache for me. But the Clippers still could have made, great opportunities and just take Gigi Jackson. But I guess not. Now, the acquisition of KJ Martin Jr. Um, I'd give it, I'd give it a solid A. We gave 2 second-round picks for this man who's very athletic, could play defense. So in a way, they kind of made it up from like the draft decisions that the Clippers made like a while back. So I guess it kind of rebounded. But in my opinion, like you got to eventually learn how to draft, man. Like, but KJ Martin acquisitions was solid. He gives us the athleticism. He plays defense. I don't know. I forgot to study how good was his jump shot, but he definitely would help us so much. Let's just say, like in the transition, like get a lob and a boom. So like, while we need a guy who can score inside, KJ Martin would help us, and I think it's from Southern California too. So Cali roots, Cali roots. So that would definitely be a. This is definitely a great acquisitions. Um, but going back on draft night, another error that the Clippers also made is the second round pick. They took Jordan Miller over Amani Bates. That's also a pretty terrible move. Um, and the way how the Clippers have been making decisions, I kind of want to be the Clippers general manager, man, because shit. Because I want the Clippers to kind of like eventually learn how to like prospect content, not just trying to go for like the people in the market like every single time. Um, because eventually, because like throughout sports history, teams become successful from building through the draft, and there's so many opportunities that the Clippers could have seized on draft night. They just kind of like miss out on it, and then the Clippers front office, they're too focused on trying to trade for stars or rope and stars and all that, and just keep throwing draft picks away. Like even if you're in a win now mode, the draft should always be the team's priority. Look, the San Antonio Spurs, they were in win now mode, but what they prioritized the draft rather than trying to make like an actual trade. Like they would always try to trade for prospects and all that. Look at what they did with Kawhi Leonard, man. Like they just trade one of their players for like a draft pick, and this season it was a Clippers' perfect opportunity, but the Clippers essentially blew that. But I hope Kobe Brown does prove me wrong. But I don't know. I'm still not a fan of who he took Kobe Brown over. But um, again, I pray to God this man prove me wrong. I pray that he proves me wrong. But anyways, that's kind of like pretty much the conclusion of what I kind of like think of this team. Um, Throughout the trades that the Clippers made this year, I'm not really optimistic on how the team's gonna do because day by day I'm gonna be like living like in. I'll be like worried what's Lawrence Train's next move gonna be. Is he gonna throw away all of our decade of draft picks for some other player? Is he gonna decide to go crazy and just suddenly trade Brandon Boston, Terrence Mann, and Bones, and then for like a star, and then the Clippers have no assets for 10 years? Especially the Eric Gordon trade. Like he threw away our draft pick, but he did make some solid moves like KJ Martin, and then of course what no one saw coming. What not many people would have done, Russell Westbrook. But I'm still very skeptical of Lawrence Frank. And as the season starts, gotta hope Kawhi Leonard becomes healthy and um and shit. Just hopefully Ty Lue gets his head together, man, with his rotation, because his rotation, he had this weird relationship of wanting to play Marcus Morris a huge amount of minutes. But I'm a little like with the trades that the Clippers been doing, man. I'm pretty nervous, man. I'm pretty nervous. What's the Clippers' next move going to be? but we'll see, man. But anyways, let me know what you think about the off season's move that the Clippers did. Um, do you agree with all my gradings? Do you think are some of my gradings like way too harsh, or you think like some of the gradings that I did that was a little high was a little overrated? Let me know what you think, man. But anyways, this should end off this video of my off-season gradings, and this should definitely wrap it up. Much love. Have a great night or a great day. Peace.